I think these are starting to get weird.
I'm sure that there was nothing weird or foreshadowy in there at all.
I'm starting just to develop a baseline concern. Oh well, I'm sure the healthy and pragmatic option is to just put all of this out of our minds and just continue playing Crossworlds. And hey, if you want an ideal distraction, how about a new party member? And hey, at least this one actually remembers that we can't talk. Ought to be a notable improvement. And don't worry, he's gonna talk enough for both of us.
I mean, to be fair, Emily also talks enough for both of us, so that's not really any sort of change.
But there's talking and there's talking. There's a difference. And I think we're gonna see a study in that difference. But yeah, I don't know how he figured anyone would pronounce his given avatar name. I read it as like Citroen, like the car manufacturer, but that's just me.
That would be my immediate read of it.
I agree with the guild though, let's just go with Tronny. Now he suggests that we can go and do the main plot quest, and then immediately suggests that we do side quests instead. Which, you know, seems pretty sensible. Anyway, now that you're in our party, we've got something we need to do. Don't ask, I just have to do this with everyone.
Sounds an awful lot like Tronny here has played an RPG or two before, and he knows.
He knows the deal.
He understands.
He knows the steps. And yeah, Lucas is not wrong about this. The Maroon Valley enemies, they all have gimmicks. And they're all just a little bit irritating to fight normally. But if you engage with those gimmicks, they just go down like chumps. At this point, we've leveled a bit, so now we can just tank them all, but it's fine. Anyway, here I was, trying to figure out what would be the optimal way to have them both facing when we fade in for this quest, when whatever the fuck that was happened. What was that? I thought it was like a glitch of some... I mean, obviously it's a glitch, but...
This is an MMO, Fiddle. You gotta excuse a few graphical bugs here and there.
Yeah. there is that, but also, like, it was kind of blink and you'll miss it, but when it happened, our HP total briefly increased to, like, triple what it was supposed to be, and then ticked back down. So, I don't know what the fuck happened. I was all ready to assume it was just some kind of weird texture or sprite issue, something that you'd probably have to resort to talking about the GPU to explain properly. But, then there's the health thing. Anyway, we're investigating the thefts in the market. And the officer on duty assures us that there is not actually any problem. An assessment in which he is entirely alone. So yeah, even the main game UI stops trying to pretend that this guy is not incredibly sus at this point. Then we get to use our seeker senses to steal his phone. Like, I don't know how he didn't see that. I like how Leah now has enough vocabulary to carry out an entire phone call. Baby steps.
She was very convincing. Definitely sold it as sounding just like an old mustache man.
I mean, or like a convincing millennial. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, this guy has actually always been here. We talked to him in the last video. But now he gets an exclamation point over his head. So yeah, this seemed inevitable. Shout out to the two guys on the roof up there. Just relaxing, taking in the sights and sounds of the desert oasis town. Chatter coming up from the market. Whistle of the desert breeze. Sounds of gunfire and screaming from immediately behind you.
You know, that just helps set the tone, you know? You know, what kind of romantic getaway isn't complete without, what's the word I'm looking for here? A little good old...
activity.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, these guys all have a network shield. The main guy, when you stun him, all their shields go offline. So, pretty much anything that you do will stun him. And then you can go and take out the little guys, it's not that deep. Alternatively, you can just walk up to the little guys and hit them until they die. That's totally valid. Now, it's not the most suitable arena for demonstrating it, but Trolley's now helping us out. He's got his own unique style, very different from Emily. He's a mage, so he's got a lot of ranged attacks.
Well, they did say he was, what, a hexacaster or something like that?
Yeah.
So that checks out.
So he's got the ability to get a lot of balls on the screen very quickly. We'll get to see him fighting a bit better later, when there's a little bit more open space. And yeah, just in case you'd forgotten, this is happening literally across the street from the local police station. So, good work on that one, guys. Yeah, don't worry, he'll be back.
No, everything's gonna be fine. I mean, sure, we didn't get anybody that was directly involved with this other than, like, the pickup guy, but sure. Everything's fine.
For now. Anyway, let's go out and actually kill some things. Now, just like Emily had a gimmick in which she would talk to us about farm life, Tronny here also has a bit that he does. If we can ever actually fucking kill this thing. So yeah, you ever had that guy who would just nitpick the shit out of video games? That's not realistic. These are such dumb enemies. This environment makes no sense. He's in our party now.
Great!
And the thing about it is, in CrossCode, it works. Like, it actually just, it works. It would be insufferable if an actual person was doing this in a game that we're playing, that because he's a character of another player, written by the writers of this game, it basically just turns into them just poking a little bit of fun at themselves, and somehow it just doesn't seem as insufferable when they do it. So, nitpick away, Tronny. You'll also notice that whenever Leah gets an opportunity to emote during any of these conversations, that she's actually fully into this. She's just like, fuck yeah. Just tell me some biology facts, Tronny.
That's unfortunate. You'll say, people like Tronny are, they're a special bunch.
So yeah, as you can probably imagine, hexacasts work best in these wide open spaces where they can just get all their projectile bullshit going. He actually has a couple of unique techs. He's got missiles. Got one for each element, and he's got a non-elemental magic missile. That was one of them just then. It hones in, does a bit of damage, I think it stuns for a bit. Brief delay, and then a big explosion. And a big status infliction.
Oh my god, now that you've pointed it out, I hate him.
What? How can you hate this?
I kind of just zoned out when I was walking around with him, but now that you've pointed out what he actually says, I hate him.
How? How can you hate him? He's just a walking fun fact machine. And the best part is, he knows that he's a walking fun fact machine. He has full self-awareness, he knows what he's doing. And like I said, Leah's up for it, so, like, what's the problem? We got a party dynamic here.
I think... I'm gonna fall back on the Apollo problem for this. Which, okay, yeah, like, this isn't, you know, this isn't as bad, and yeah, okay, Leia's into it, that's not that bad, but, like, some of the things, like, for example, the shark thing, when he was like, how could they be a shark skeleton? Sharks don't even have bones. I'm forced to fall back on the Apollo explanation, which is that, okay, you made an insufferable, terrible character. Great. And then you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me that he's insufferable and terrible. And it's like, great, so you knew this going in and you did it anyway.
I don't know. I think with Apollo it's a bit more of a dangerous line, but I think with Tronny it works, largely just because of the separation. It's like, yeah, this is the writers telling us that they understand how dumb all the stuff that they've made is, and we're just gonna roll with it, and here's our proof that we actually do understand this stuff. It's a very weird thing in that it works because of how it doesn't work, but also it kind of doesn't work because of how it works. It's a dangerous game. Anyway, we got given a fetch quest, but we already have all the stuff. And like, if you don't realise that them having the exclamation point means that you have all the stuff, you might go around and try and farm stuff, and you'll never hit the limit because you're already past it. So that could be a tiny bit dangerous. But yeah, remember the protecting the tree quest from Autumn's Rise? This is basically just that again, but with sharks. And that's what makes this one spicy. Because the sharks are actually kind of dangerous for this mission because of how they do their whole gimmick, where you have to hit them in very particular ways in order to actually damage them.
Also, I feel like the sharks' aggro is a lot less consistent than the last time we did this. I distinctly remember failing this quest a lot because they would just decide, because I would be in the middle of fighting like 4 of them, and then they would just decide, hey, you know what, actually we're gonna go break the box now, fuck you, start over.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They definitely do the exact same tell that the cows did, where they display a unique text message, and then they go and do a unique attack, and also they make a unique sound, which is very weird as a sound, by the way. Like, I think it's supposed to sound like bones rattling, but it just sounds like a cartoonish chomp sound effect, like somebody biting something. I don't understand it at all. But the big problem is they do their tail and then they charge at the crate, and you have a very short window, much shorter than it seems like maybe it should be, in order to hit them. And if you don't hit them, that crate is taking damage. Like, I think it's gonna happen right now. Yep. Basically, this whole thing is a glorified test of your ability to actually consistently hit sharks. By the way, you can see while we're busy hitting everything with large numbers of attacks, when the gold numbers come out of stuff, that's a crit. It's actually a tiny bit difficult to see because the big number that you see is actually a running damage total, which doesn't go gold, but the smaller numbers coming out of it are the individual hits. So if you pay attention, you'll see that. You'll see those crits proccing. Also, yeah, remember these machines from Death Stranding? Totally ripped off this game. I was actually kind of hoping there'd be a more conventional escort quest where we'd have to just walk it back to town, but it just teleports. Well, that was something. Let's go and kill some drill toises now. gets excited when you walk past a tree because, you know, this is where the plot quest is, but we're not doing that just yet. Instead, we're going in here. So, remember when these things were an enemy in Temple Mine? That's because they were mining equipment that got taken over by those flinzer things. Fleezers? Flinzers? I can't remember which one's which. But here we get to use one in its actual conventional mining equipment sense. The result is this little gimmick section, in which you shoot the thing with a charged shot and it dispenses a bomb as close as it can get to where you're standing. It's a little inconsistent. Sometimes it takes a bit in order to get these things to drop the bombs in the right place, but you'll need it because these guys are completely invincible until you hit them with a bomb. And they absolutely will still attack you while they're doing this, by the way. In fact, they'll keep attacking you even after you've dug them out until you get them broken. They do a deceptively large amount of damage. I actually took 2 tries to do this mission. Because these guys are kind of dicks. Also, remember in Temple Mine, when it was kind of blink and you'll miss it, but I was talking about how the bombs actually do damage based off of your stats? So right now, we've got a decently powerful focus build, and we have no defense. So if we friendly fire ourselves with one of those bombs, it stings. It's a real bad idea. I cannot recommend it.
Will that stop you from doing it, though?
Absolutely not. Anyway, here's 12 of these things, and a weird audio scripting fuck-up. I'm pretty sure this music was supposed to fade back in, but... yeah. Whatever. So yeah, the behaviour of these guys, they sit there, they throw projectiles at you, they go inside the ground, and they pop up from under your feet, so you can't shield them. So that kinda sucks. Also, when they pop up, when you bomb them, they will actually attack much faster until you stun them. So you gotta watch out for that.
I gotta say, this looks extremely tedious with how long it takes the bomb to reload.
Yeah, it's a little bit slow going, this one. I think this fight could have stood to have been about half the length and still pretty much made its point. Which is not to say it's not like it's bad. This is still a decently varied encounter. It's a new thing. It's not like bullshit. It's just yet another completely unique encounter as the culmination of a side quest in CrossCode. Also, yeah, like seriously, don't get hit by your own bombs.
That wasn't as bad as I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that was because I was on more or less full health. You'll notice these things actually drop health when they die, so that takes a little bit of the sting out as well. More things that are easy to forget are that, because these are literally the same bombs as we were using in Temple Mine, if you put one in a bad place, you can still hit it with a fire shot, and that will send it flying. You can probably still hit something with it that way. one thing I actually don't know that you'll probably be able to tell if you watch this video back is whether or not Tronny can get the thing to drop bombs. I don't think he can, but on the other hand, there's times in this fight where bombs just appeared and I wasn't really sure how. Anyway, once you're deep enough into the last phase of this, it becomes kind of a formality. These guys they only have so much range, and I think the pillars can actually block their attacks.
That's odd for an attack that comes from underground, but okay.
I mean, not to channel Tronny too much on this one, but I think it actually kind of tracks if, like, the ground is dirt and the pillars are rock and there's stuff coming up from inside the dirt that can't go through the rock. I don't know, I think it holds. I think internal consistency is maintained here. I guess we can add this to the list of answers to put on that postcard. Anyway, it's a real good idea to do this with Tronny rather than with Emily, because once those things get dug up, he can fight them at range, which is a much better idea than trying to fight them at melee range. Like, you wouldn't think those guys would be so dangerous at melee range, but they attack real fast. Anyway, that's all our homework. Next time we'll actually go and clear out the tree.